Looking at Donald Trump's life and his impact, where would Donald Trump fall in historical figures? Have we seen anything like it in American history?
He is, as far as I can see, absolutely unique. And even his reaction to the two assassination attempts, the level of bravery, it's difficult for me to think of anybody alive, but even anybody historically who would respond in quite that way. And I think a good way to sort of understand Trump today is kind of in terms of the old movie westerns. Before I came to America, Charlie, I was mainly exposed to America through films and mainly war movies and westerns. And if you think about the plot of a western movie, it's kind of what we're living through now. You got a town and it's going pretty peacefully. It's called, Shinbone or Pleasantville. And there's an old sheriff with a toothbrush mustache and an old rifle. That's like the GOP establishment. But then some ruthless gangsters come in and they shoot up the town. They take it over. They take over the saloon. They take over the provision store. They intimidate everybody. And then the movie takes off when over the mountains comes an outsider, a stranger. Not much is known about him. He seems a little dubious, but nevertheless, the gangsters know right away that he is the one guy that they have to watch out for. He's the one guy who could take him down. And so the plot of the film is there's a showdown. They try to intimidate him, to run him out of town, to beat him up, to shoot him and kill him. And I think this is, in a way, Trump. Trump is the outsider. And even the people of the town are a little ambivalent about him. And that's why today we'll have Republicans who say, well, why can't we go back to the old way of doing things? Shinbone used to be great. They don't realize that Shinbone isn't Shinbone anymore. We're not living in the same country that Reagan gave us at the end of his 2 terms in office. And so we have to deal with this new threat. And as far as I can see, there's no other Republican really who is up to it. Any other Republican facing 2 criminal charges, let alone 91, would have exited the race, fled the field. Trump, in that sense, is, as they say, sui generis. He's in a league of his own.
Truly. And so in making this film, what did you learn, Dinesh, about Trump and about his life that you did not know prior to starting the film?
I think it was not so much what I didn't know, but rather this. I really met Trump in 2019, the year after I got my presidential pardon. He didn't know me before. I'd spoken to him once on the phone. But when I saw him in the Oval Office with my family, we saw a kind of dimension of Trump. And my wife and I said to each other, we never see that in the public arena. Trump has a kind of manly aversion to like showing his feelings and showing vulnerability. But I said, if that part of Trump could be more seen by people, it would round out the picture and it would also endear people to him a lot more. And so my goal in this conversation with Trump was not to let Trump be kind of the runaway train that he sometimes is, but rather to sort of control the trajectory of the conversation so that I could show the American people that private dimension of Trump that I had seen, but I don't think that he shields a little bit from public view.
So Dinesh, studying Trump and putting this in the film, what does he need to do in this final sprint as we are, 34 days out from the end of voting? 35 days out to win and defeat Kamala Harris.
I think the case that Trump and our side needs to make is that Trump doesn't need to be rehabilitated or remade. All the people who say, well, I don't like Trump, but I like his policies, or they say, he needs to shut his mouth. Nesh, please tell him to stop, posting on social media like that. The point I want to make is that this guy is actually ideally suited for the crisis that we face in the country and in the world now. He's a little bit like General Grant in the middle of the Civil War. It makes no sense to say, well, the guy drinks too much, he cusses a lot. Those qualities are part of what made Grant an indomitable fighter on the battlefield. And so the point is that we are living at a time when the supreme political virtue is courage. Aristotle says it's the greatest of all the virtues, in part because it enables all the others. It gives you the strength to do all the other virtues. And Trump has that in a measure that is beyond anybody else I can think of.
It is vindicating Trump. Dinesh, how do people see it and support this important film?
The website is vindicatingtrump.com. If you type in your city or town, the theaters will pop right up. It's in theaters right now, and there's a book of the same title coming out in a week. You can pre-order that on the website also, vindicatingtrump.com.